Good evening. Our August 8, 2019 City Council meeting is now called to order. Tonight we have some very special guests with us doing our prayer and our pledge. First off, we're going to have Selena Williams, who's age 12, is a member of the NAACP Youth Council number 6997. She's homeschooled and attends Mobley Baptist Church. She likes playing her flute and wants to be a veterinarian. We have Elijah Mayfield. Her brother is 10 and also a member of the NAACP Youth Council number 6997. He's homeschooled and attends Mobley Baptist Church. He likes playing the clarinet. Later plans to move on to the saxophone. He wants to be a police officer and own his own business. When they come up in just a minute, we're also going to have tonight Malik Page and Michaela Page. They came here tonight. They're going to be our prayer and pledge doers for our next meeting. And I appreciate all of y'all being here, so please rise. Come forward, please.
But we bow our heads in prayer. I pray that the Lord will bless this community and everyone in it. And I pray that He will send His angels to watch over the city of Longview. And I pray all these things in Jesus' name, and amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank you all for coming up and saying our prayer and pledge. That was very kind. And Malik and Michaela, I got big shoes to fill in 2 weeks, don't you? That was pretty good. Thank y'all so much. We are to employee recognition. Tonight we're going to recognize our Public Works communication team. On May the 8th, Longview was impacted by straight-line winds that toppled many trees and caused damage across the community. Storm cleanup involved much more than clearing debris. It takes multiple levels of cohesion, coordination, and communication throughout various teams. In Public Works, Vanessa Barrier, Jackie Saylor, Brenda Jones handled over 8,000 calls from citizens and organizations following the storm. These ladies worked tirelessly to keep callers informed, schedule limb pickup, coordinate with other departments, and complete follow-up paperwork. We are extremely thankful for their hard work and dedication. Please come forward. Show you how eager these ladies are and what a great job they do. I'll tell you, we all know what catastrophe could have taken place on that day. And we had a lot of damage, granted, but we had 0 fatalities, no serious injuries. We were blessed upon that, and you ladies have coordinated and can still continue to coordinate an effort to clean up. That was a monumental task to coordinate efforts, clean up, debris takeaway, clearings, all the things that you all did. And I can tell you, I have never seen such a coordinated, fantastic effort as we had that day and throughout this whole period. You all have given more than we could have ever asked, and you all have just answered that call, and I appreciate it. I know the citizens of Longview appreciate it, because without this coordinated effort, it's chaos, and chaos rules and things like this. And, power is out, communications are down, but it never hindered what you all did. And I thank you so much. Your efforts were just monumental. Thank you all so very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. I hope it doesn't happen again, but I know if it does, we're in great hands. Thank you all again. Tonight, in my community recognition, I'm going to recognize our Great Texas Balloon Race people that put on an amazing weekend. So I know the board members are here. Some of you all are here. Please come forward. As they're coming forward, I just want to say I appreciate y'all on such. I called Sean about 4 o'clock or whatever, and I said, hey, I forgot to tell everybody, but I'm doing the Great Texas Balloon Race recognition tonight. If anybody's available, please come up. And look how many we got. These people answer the bell as well. I just want to say to you all personally, what an amazing weekend that was for Longview and for Gray County. The crowds were beyond expectation, beyond belief. Unbelievable, the coordinated effort that you all put on to make this such a great event for our area. It's so big for Longview to have this as our event. And every year it gets better. Every year you all do something to make it better. And I can tell you this year, bar none, without a doubt, the balloon glow with the music to it was absolutely fantastic. Nothing against the guy that says, Auburn and all that. I loved the music and the coordination. It was so good. I hope you all continue. I had more people say how great that change was than anything else about the whole event. It was amazing. And I can tell you, all the things that you all did came to fruition, and I just thank you. You know, don't let a little bit of negativity overshadow what took place this weekend, that weekend, because it was amazing. And, you know, no one can control every circumstance, and you all can either. No one can tell the future. No one can make people do what they want to do or what they're supposed to do. All you can do is what you think they're doing. Y'all did a great job. And I, as the mayor of Longview, I know the council, I know the citizens, we are so thankful for the time and effort that y'all spend in this endeavor. And I know you've already started for next year. It's just, this is a year-to-year process. Nothing stops with you all. But I wanted to just take time to tell you how much I appreciate what you all have done, what you're going to do for next year, what you're in the years to come. But look at these pictures. Look at what took place. If you didn't go out there, and I can tell you, I've never seen bigger crowds than were there this year, and the traffic flow was phenomenal. Nobody had to wait. We got in and out. It was, everything about it is better and better. So thank you all. Keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. Y'all are amazing. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. What do y'all got here? Hold on. What you got?
We've got signed posters, our commemorative poster, and the artist has signed it for each of the council members.
Oh, how awesome. Wow. Thank y'all so much. Hold on, we got to get a picture. We're going to get a picture of the holding this one. Come on. Hold this in the middle. Come on. Hold on. Let me get rid of this microphone just a second. I don't need that thing. Okay, come on. Here we go. Everybody in?
We have some leaners.
Come on, lean in.
Dave, you're not supposed to be in the picture.
We call that a photo bomb. Hey, all the council come up here. Come on up here, council. Everybody come up here. Let's get a picture of the council over these things too.
Now it's your turn, Dave.
Come on, Dave, photo bomb.
Everyone have their... Everyone have their...
Kristen, you next to me. Get away from me. Come here, Kristen. Right on the platform.
Okay, there you go.
That's much better.
3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thank y'all. Perfect. In all seriousness, if you didn't make that event this year, you really missed out, and you need to try to make plans for next year. I think next year I've heard it's going to be in June, a little bit earlier, which, you know, may or may not be cooler. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. It's just the event is so special. The heat is not a deterrent, because the things that go on out there, the things that we get to see, and the coordination that takes place, I'm telling you, it was fantastic. And I got to go up on the second level, that little platform above the stage this year, where I could really see out. And what I saw was, I'm standing up there right there, what I saw was just, it was phenomenal. And so I'm excited about the changes we're making year to year, and I know it's going to continue. So great job, Taste of Blue Race people. Y'all are awesome. Okay, citizen comment. I do have one speaker card. Miss Jenna Yakely.
Distinguished council members and Mayor Mack, I'm the Youth Services Supervisor at the Longview Public Library, and I am thrilled to report that 3 years in a row, over 2,000 kids have participated in our summer reading club. In order to reward kids for reading throughout the summer, we offer weekly prizes, but end the program with a highly anticipated bike raffle every year during our end party at Broughton Park. I'd like to take a moment to mention a particular organization in the community that has generously supported our summer reading club endeavors and make something like this bike raffle a reality. I would like to give special thanks to the Fraternal Order of the Knights of Pythias. They are a local group established here in Longview in 1881. They purchased and assembled 12 bicycles that we gave away to children at our summer reading club and party for several years. The Knights of Pythias have been sponsoring a similar program with local schools called the Read and Ride program for many years with great success. Around 5 years ago, we asked them to help us continue this good work during the summer through our summer reading club. We look forward to working with the Knights in the future as we partner together, encouraging children to develop their reading skills, all the while continue to expand our annual summer reading club to reach more children in the community. I'd like to end by thanking one of their members in particular by name, Mr. Joe Knox. Mr. Knox is one of the most generous people I have ever met. Not only does he donate additional bikes towards our end party, but he also donates a large prize for our teen readers as well. I am proud that men like Mr. Knox and the Knights of Pythias choose to donate every year towards our ever-popular summer reading club. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. We love citizen comments like that, don't we? Thank you so much. We're at a public safety update. Chief Bishop is not here tonight. He's attending to ongoing matters within the city of Longview as would be expected, but we do have the PAR officers. We need to come up and take a picture with the National Night Out banner. So council, we need to come up here and take a quick picture. And they'll get to you just a second, Chief Stillman. Come on up, guys.
All right. That's from now.
Sorry.
That's why you always wear your you look good.
Everybody good? Y'all look at Richard.
I'm missing you right in the back, yeah.
Oh, okay, you'll send us tiptoes. That's great.
3, 2, 1. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Looking forward to National Night Out. Chief Stillman, welcome.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here, Mayor. Mayor Mack, members of council, Mr. Bonds, thank you for the opportunity to update you on what's been happening in the fire department since our last meeting. I need to circle back around on this first one. I failed to mention that we have a new employee in the fire department at the last council meeting. Lauren Albertson has joined our team, and we tend to sometimes overlook our civilian staff, but I promise you, without them working in the background, keeping us going every day, we would fail to meet the goal of the fire department. So we're certainly glad to have Lauren. She's our new office assistant, so if you come in the door, it's her smiling face you're going to see. If you call on the phone, that's probably who you're going to talk to first. So we look forward to many great things from her being a part of our team. Our new hazardous materials response trailer is now in service. This was grant funded through Homeland Security funds that we received through the Homeland Security Council through ETCOG. As you're familiar with our hazmat team, we're a regional response unit, and this trailer is subject to go anywhere in and even outside of the 14 county ETCOG region. So we're certainly glad to have this new piece of equipment. It's replacing a unit that is nearing 20 plus years of age. So it's just part of our timely replacement to make sure we have good equipment out there for our responders to utilize in time of need. You recognized during the employee recognition the ladies that took all the calls. Well, let me show you what the fruit of their labor is. If you see those two outlined piles there in the red, right now that is the extent of the debris that Public Works people have collected that is at the compost site. It is in excess of 200,000 plus cubic yards. So that's a lot of stuff that we're having to deal with, and according to Raleigh McPhee, I believe we're well into above 90% of having everything collected out there. There's still stuff being picked, if you can believe it or not. Even now, that was in May, and even August, we're still out there trying to collect some of this. If you've not gone out to the compost site, those piles are enormous. I mean, they're kind of deceiving from the drone shot there, but they're twice as high as an automobile. I mean, it's massive. So one of the things that we've embarked on just this week is trying to seek some grant funding that's going to help us ultimately with the disposal of all of that debris. The estimates right now is it's going to be into the hundreds of thousands of dollars to get rid of all that properly. So we're trying to find some state funds out there that are recovery funds that are set aside to help us with this. So hopefully we'll come through on that. We're collaborating with our state partners to seek out what those resources might be. A little update on the comprehensive plan and our bond projects. The first two public safety projects for the fire department were the expansion, renovation, and remodel of Fire Station Number 5 at 102 West Niblick on the west end of town, and the relocation of our training field from Stamper Park. And I just wanted to update you on those two projects. I've got a better rendering here you might take a look at on your way out of council chambers tonight. They are in the design phase. We're nearing the end of the design phase for the Station 5 project, and we're transitioning from the planning to the design phase of the relocation of the training field. So we're on time with these projects. We're going to meet our goals unless we run into any big snags, which I don't anticipate. The process has gone pretty fluidly, and I look forward to seeing the construction phase be the next thing that we tackle. Just very pleased with how these projects are working out, and thanks to Facility Services serving as the project lead on this. It's hot out there. I don't have to tell you. It's August. We got by for a long time, but we're nearing those 100-degree days. We're certainly seeing on the EMS side of our jobs. The heat-related emergencies that I've been talking about for the last several weeks are happening daily, a couple of times, several times a day. So we just encourage our citizens to use caution, take care, stay hydrated, and if you even think you're experiencing any type of a heat-related emergency, to activate 911 immediately. And Code Red. Code Red's a free service at the city officers to be informed of events that are happening or incidents that are happening within the city, so we urge our residents to take advantage of this free service. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from Chief Stillman? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate it. Now, the consent agenda, any items council like pulled off for separate discussion? John, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And on that note, I just want to thank Councilman Snoddy and Councilman Wright for doing our appointments committees, because two of them that are very important to me. Our Walk of Stars committee has been finalized, as well as our census committee, and I'm excited about both of those coming together and starting moving forward. I've asked Mr. Bonds to go ahead and get our organizational meetings set up so that we can get both those committees up and rolling and moving forward. So thank you both for your time in this and the efforts of all council for submitting names and applications to these things. I really appreciate your diligence in that. We're now to zoning. Public hearing held to consider application S-1903, filed by Tyler Graber. Ms. Joy.
Thank you, Mayor Mack, members of council, and Mr. Bonds. The applicant is requesting a specific use permit for a drive-through window in general retail zoning district. A specific use permit is required for a drive-through window within this zoning district to ensure no negative impact on surrounding properties. The current business there sells tea and water, and those items will be sold through the proposed drive-through window. Planning and Zoning Commission, along with staff, recommends approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
This requires a public hearing, which is now open. Any questions, Ms. Choi? Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing held to consider a request to abandon a portion of a 60-foot wide street right-of-way known as Edwin Street. Ms. Choi.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting to abandon a portion of a street right-of-way known as Edwin Street, located on the west side of High Street. The applicant would like to incorporate this right-of-way into their campus and limit the access points within their campus. Easements will be secured for the water line located within this street right-of-way. Staff does recommend approval of this request. I would be happy to answer any questions at this time.
This requires a public hearing, which is now open. Any questions of Ms. Choi? Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Action item, consider resolution authorizing city manager to negotiate contract on behalf of the city of Longview with Longview Economic Development Corporation, the position number 380, agreement with the Texas Local Government Code. In lieu of Mr. Mansfield, we will have Ms. Diana Velasquez.
Thank you. This project is a retention project for a company that has been in South Longview since 1950. The project entails keeping 70 jobs. Originally, they were looking to look at either relocating the complete facility to Garland, Texas, which is where Hatco is located, or renew and remodel the existing facility that they have here in Longview. I'll take any questions.
Any questions, Ms. Velasquez?
This is in and out of the city. Part of this is out of the city, part of it's in it.
There
Not-
is a small portion that is located outside of the city limits.
And I called Wayne, and our 380 agreement lets us do that.
Yes. Yes, just like we did up on the loop with the rehab facility. Yes, because it's part of it's within the city. And we can even go in our ETJ if we had to for 380. So we're great. Any questions of Ms. Diana?
How many jobs are we preserving here in town by doing this?
70.
Sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yes, absolutely.
You're looking at an average pay about $35,000 a year.
We will take every job we can get. There's a motion?
I make the motion, we approve.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diana. Appreciate you very much. For the budget items, discuss the proposed 2019-2020 budget. Mr. Bonds.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I've second shot.
Go ahead.
Sure,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Talked about this the last council meeting, so we'll just get right into it. This is the first slide that we showed at the last council meeting. Shows the assumptions that we used when we started the preparation of the budget. You see that we assumed that the city's in overall strong financial position. We have healthy reserves. Our sales tax is steadily increasing. We have moderate growth in our property values. The tax rate is proposed to increase 4.9 cents per $100 value, which is accordance to the voter-approved bond election. We are proposing a minimal rate increase for water and sewer, no rate increase for sanitation. We talked about the health fund. Its financial position has improved greatly, and we are proposing a market pay adjustment for our general government employees. So this is a slide that we talked about a little bit. It shows in the first column the year-end estimate for this fiscal year, showing our ending fund balance of $15.571 million, or 22.25% of our expenditures. Our proposed FY20 budget shows a ending fund balance of $12,463,000, or almost 17%. So obviously there's a deficit with expenditures $3.1 million over the revenues, which still leaves us $5.128 million above the council's required 10% of the reserve fund, being 10% of the expenditures. So we talked about how we spend those funds, and we've proposed to use one-time purchases. What we define as that's capital expenditures, vehicles, a fire truck, park improvements, and a piece of software for our business operations here. So this is the overall total budget for the city, and even though the general fund shows an increase of over $3 million, as we just discussed, so we have the decrease in enterprise and special revenue funds offset that. So the total increase is actually due to the debt service funds, which is again a reflection of the bond election. So I'll be glad to answer any question. I hope you have some.
Any questions, Mr. Bonds?
I do.
Mr. Moore?
Let's look at the salary package first. I want to look at the history of it. We had a all-employee salary plan upgrade in 09 and 13, where we did a market rate. Then in 2014, which, let me have the next slide. In 2014, you can see our sales tax peaked. So things started going downhill for us after the 2013 salary adjustment, and it wasn't until this year that we topped the 2014 sales tax collections. Okay, go back. Even during the downturn, we scrimped and saved and were able to do police adjustments in 2015 and fire department pay adjustments in 2018. So here it's 6 years after all employees are getting a market pay, and how much is it costing us this year in the general fund for this plan?
700 and
General fund is $702,000.
Okay, that's for the pay adjustment, and for the 3%? And the total?
The total and general funds, $1.472 million.
Okay. All right. So ideally, how often would you like to do one of these pay adjustments?
More often than 6 years, but yeah, about every 2 or 3 years is what we'd like to do.
Okay. Are we adding any employees in this budget?
1.
Okay. So, as I recall, the average pay for the police department in 15 was 9%, and the average pay adjustment for the fire department was 8%. And for the 499 employees in this package, the average adjustment is 11.5%.
Correct.
I have heard comments, why a double-digit adjustment? So, could you talk about that?
Sure. We adjusted the pay plan for the police department, and that was affected 175 employees, and that was, the cost of that was $761,000. That would be above the 3%. But their average salary was around $67,000, so it's a math issue, if you will. The same thing for the fire department, 163 employees, the average salary was $68,000. So the general government's average salary is $44,000. So even though there are more people, and it still has less per person, if you will. So
it's just a math calculation.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Sure.
and this is an assumption, I don't have this as a fact, but I would assume if we'd have done the general pay adjustment in 2015, it would have been 8 or 9%.
Exactly.
But we waited
Yeah.
6 years. So that
That's
number
right.
has continued to grow.
Yes.
Because we haven't had the ability to do that.
Good point.
Because we can't do that until we can do it without having to, and bless the city staff's heart, until we could do it without having a tax increase.
Right.
And I made that very clear when I was elected as the mayor in 2015. Police were number one. We had to get that up because our crime was out of control. And we did it to get them where we need to be. And we have, I would like to say solved that problem, but we have gotten a lot closer to where we want to be with that. Fire had to be next because our public servants in those areas are our public safety, and that's our number one priority for city government. Unfortunately, the remainder of the government had to stay as number 3. And I told Mr. Bonds that we couldn't do it until we could afford it. But we could afford it, then I wanted to see that happen, because every single individual in this city is as important as any other individual. Just some of them priorities were not in the same spot because of our situation where we were with such a horrible economy when we took over 4.5 years ago. Our sales tax were so far down, we were having trouble making budgets within each department, and we had to strap our belt to get to where we are. But now we've rebounded, we've come closer to where we would love to stay all the time, and when that happens, now we can do that. But 6 years later, that number has risen every year because other cities haven't maybe had the situations that we've had. But I would venture to say, and this is just an assumption, but I have a feeling it's a pretty close assumption. Had we done this in 2015, it wouldn't be 11%. I think I can very easily say that. So
I think that
that's
would
your
be
double digit.
a safe assumption, yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
Okay, let me talk a little bit about the deficit that we're proposing to budget. Would you look at number 15? We've proposed a $3.1 million deficit in the general fund, all for one-time expenses. The biggest ticket item is vehicle replacement. I looked at the vehicle replacement line item, and it has increased appreciably this year in the budget. Is this catch-up? Did we fall behind in our required vehicle replacement transfers during the lean years?
We certainly did, yes.
Okay.
Those are not emergency vehicles, right?
Well, these are virtually all emergency vehicles.
A vehicle replacement is?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought they were not like ambulances or police cars or...
They're virtually all emergency
Okay.
vehicles. Yeah. Tahoes mainly.
Okay.
Now, the vehicle, the maintenance management program we have undertaken with Enterprise, when they made their presentation to us, they estimated that over a 10-year period, there would be a little over $3.5 million in savings, $350,000 a year. Well, in future years as we get further into that? Will this affect the vehicle replacement budget?
It should some, because there are some vehicles that aren't emergency vehicles in that. We have a portion of their vehicle replacement, the lease payments aren't in this number. So we've removed those, but that, as the lease payment grows, this number will shrink, but it won't be as much.
Okay, all right. We're buying a fire engine for Station 7. You know, well, I guess it's not unfortunate because we want them, but Chief Steelman has the most expensive toys in the city. Is this a catch-up item?
That was on the replacement last year, and we did not replace it, so
Okay,
it's at least 1 year.
it's 1 year behind. Are we still behind with firefighting equipment?
He probably feels so, but anyway, I think.
Other than this one, no.
Okay.
This will catch us back up.
All right, okay, good.
Not to interrupt you, Mr. Moore.
No,
But
just,
if I recall correctly, once again, when we had our budget a few years back, we were really lean, and we had to cut things. My recollection is we cut the vehicle replacement, we cut the street overlay projects, and we cut the demolition budgets, all because of our
We have done
budgets had to be tightened. And those are things that, and we were able to replace some of the overlay, I know, and add some to the demolition, but we have not been able to come back with the vehicle replacement yet
That's
until
true.
now.
That's true.
Is my memory correct?
Right, and we leased fire engines as
Yeah.
well.
Right.
And which is a smaller payment, but, you know, you have to pay
Pay the
interest,
interest.
obviously, but this, you know, does away with the interest payments.
Thank you.
okay. What kind of deficit did we start with when we first started looking at the budget?
Well, after we received all the budget requests from the departments, we're about $5.5 million apart.
So you were able to whittle that down to the 3.1 million,
That's
all
correct.
one-time expenses?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, all that we're doing still leaves about $1 million in the general fund surplus over and above what we thought we would be a year ago.
That's correct.
What does 1 penny collect in our property tax?
I believe $522,000.
Okay. Since we have this additional surplus, why don't we lower the M&O rate a penny?
Well, I would take a real careful look at the crystal ball, Mr. Moore, and I feel like with some uncertainty of the global economy, if we will, and tariffs and the sales tax this month wasn't as cheery as we like for it to be. So I think this is a more conservative approach, if you will. So.
And I've thought about this, and one thought I have, if we did that, the deficit would not be 3.1 million, it would be 3.6 million. And that extra 500,000 would be adding to the deficit for operating costs, would it not?
That's 100% correct.
And we don't do that.
I don't like to.
That's not what we
No.
do. And as the mayor during the legislative session said, the legislature just kind of lumped all of us in with fast-growing big cities, and they have lost the definition of home rule as a home rule city and severely restricted our ability and flexibility for setting the tax rate in future years. And so that question had been posed to me, why can't we lower it a penny? And this is the answer I'm giving them, is we don't have the flexibility that we used to have. So we need all we can get, and we don't want to add to the deficit for operating costs. This is the first budget in 5 years that we've had a chance to catch up to some of the things that the mayor has talked about. And it's the first time in 5 years we've been able to do something for our greatest asset, and that's our employees. I've met 3 times with staff, and I've looked over the budget fairly extensively, and I am tickled with this budget going forward.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry to
Moore.
take so much
No,
time.
I appreciate your, Mr. Moore, you're always very thorough when it comes to our budgets, and I appreciate that because your expertise is very, very welcome. But I do want to say that, you know, in my 4.5 years here so far, this is the first time that we've been able to do things that we should be doing as a city with monies that we've been entrusted with. Now, I don't feel like we're being wasteful at all. I don't feel like we're overspending. I think we still have a $5 million cushion in our reserve fund, which is fantastic. And I think that will grow. I think it usually does every year. Sure. We always seem to underestimate, which is, and I appreciate that. I don't ever want us to overestimate and then have to play catch up. So I think this is a budget that, I know we've put a lot of thought into this. We've put a lot of time into it. City staff has put every effort they can, and I've asked them repeatedly to, even though we're in a time of good right now, squeeze your budgets and come up with your 3% out of your own budget, which I've asked them to do, and every department was able to do that. That didn't cost us anything. Right. And so those are things that we need to consider that, you know, obviously, and the citizens of Longview should question every move that we make. And we should want that, because the more that people ask questions, the easier it is to justify what we're doing up here. And so, because then we have a chance to explain our position. And I think if you look at this budget, and anyone is welcome to look at this budget is an open book. You look at this budget, you'll have trouble finding a lot of things that are faulty. We could do things differently, of course. We could always change things around, but I think this is a well thought out budget that has a lot of thought into it for all the aspects of the city of Longview. And I think, as Mr. Moore said, we do have phenomenal staff at City Hall and in this community. And so I think it's important that we take care of those individuals when we can. And I know it seems like it's a big number, because it is a big number. We have 860 some odd employees in this organization. So when you're talking about those numbers, you know, those are your biggest expenses in any business is personnel. And so that's part of what we have to do. So I appreciate the comments, Mr. Moore. Anyone else have comments on this at this time? Very well. Good job. We'll discuss the proposed fee resolutions. Mr. Bonds.
Okay, just have a few highlights. This is in your packet as well. Animal Services is aligning their reclaim fees to all animals or pets, $100. There was a sliding scale at one time, but I think they've discovered that care for all the animals is equal to regardless of what type of animal or how much it weighs, I guess. So reduced microchip costs from $20 to $25 to $20, and we're going to try a 15% discount for police, fire, military, and veterans for those folks that adopt an animal. The library is going to create a fee for new digital archive preservation services. The way I understand it, we're going to accept any historical document, we're going to scan it, and then archive it on the website, and the only charges we're going to charge would be for our labor, direct labor. Is that right? Okay. Sanitation is an interesting fee, but this is trying to recoup exactly what the landfill is charging us, $20 per mattress and per piece of appliance. It just takes up room in the landfill, and they have started, that's a trend, I think, nationwide. Biggest change is no water and wastewater, or the biggest change for most of our citizens. So 92 cents per month for an average customer, or 2.17%. We kind of talked about this last meeting. So depending on what kind of meter you have and how much water you use, but the average customer, 92 cents a month, 2.17%. So that's...
Is it going to be different for a 1-inch meter?
Yes, the 1-inch meter will go up as well. I'm not
so
sure. It may be.
What do you guesstimate it being for a 1-inch meter?
Mr. McPhee knows the answer to that.
Without looking at my
I didn't know we put in
notes.
5/8-inch meters anymore.
We don't
Right.
install 5/8 meters any longer, but we still have probably 10,000.
The reason we use that for illustration purposes is if you use a proportionate size across the customers that we have, Our customers, for the most part, within the city of Longview, probably about 2/3, have 5/8 inch meters. For the 1-inch meter, the existing rate is $25.88. It would go up to $26.25. So that would be an additional.
Dollar-wise, how would that be on a water bill or something?
It would be 22 cents more than the 5/8 inch increase.
For your bill every month?
That's correct.
Okay.
It'd be 37 cents instead of 22.
So
or 15,
is a tap fee, did it go up from $5.90?
There are no adjustments to the tap fee.
Okay,
that
so
I'm
that's
aware
not,
of.
that's not considered in any of this, okay.
No, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Bonds on our fee resolution? Very well. Thank you, sir, for your presentation.
Sure.
And before we go to items of community interest, I meant to say earlier when we were talking about our assignments and our council responsibilities that I failed to mention that our new mayor pro tem is Mr. Steve Pirtle for the coming year. So I appreciate you being willing to do that. I know you've already filled in for me a few times already, and I appreciate that very much, Steve. Okay, items of community interest. Mr. Moore.
For my sesquicentennial moment, I want to highlight a program that the Main Street is offering to update streetlight banners downtown. You see a picture of the banners that they're going to be offering to commemorate our 150th. They've ordered 50 banners and they've sold 16 already. You can see $100 would be the price, but after the 150 celebration is over, the banner is yours to keep. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you're interested, contact Melita Hine, our Main Street coordinator, and the screen shows her email address and her phone number, 903-331-1469. And I know you all are excited about this. Here's an actual banner. So, a good deal. Thank you, Mayor. That's it.
Ms. Snoddy.
Good evening, everyone. Just as a reminder, school is starting in a couple weeks for our babies and started today for staff. So just asking everyone to please be prayerful for our kids, for the city, and let's pray for one another as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to acknowledge the work that Mr. Bonds and his staff and the mayor and people that assisted on the budget did. And I also want to acknowledge the fact that, I'm glad as a city that we're able to get the departments and employees to a comparable salary and recognition for the hard work that they do. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank them for it, and your staff as well for what you did on the budget. Yep.
Thank you, sir.
That's it, sir.
Ms. Ishihara.
I have a sesquicentennial announcement as well, that the ball is, so what? Only one? No, that's it? Cut off? Well, Ed made me do this one. There are no more tickets for the ball. So if you were hoping to make it to the 150th ball, you will have to find a friend that has a table because we are sold out of tickets, which is very exciting. So good job. Go buy a banner or a hot air balloon sculpture or something else to support. And since Chris Kemper is here, I want to make a couple of animal shelter announcements. If you do not like their Facebook page, please go like their Facebook page. They go viral probably once a week. They had a really great post about Shark Week last week. It's very funny, gets covered by lots and lots of news outlets. And they did an Area 51 post several weeks ago that had 20,000 likes, 7,000 comments, and was shared and covered by news outlets across the country, which is amazing. In Longview, Texas, when they go to conferences, people know who they are and use this as a model for the way that Chris and his staff are representing and promoting adoption and just doing a great job for the whole city. So very excited about that. The other announcement we made today is a really wonderful partnership. Dollar General's distribution center donates a whole bunch of food that they have that's additional food, pet food, to our shelter. And the shelter has partnered with Longview Community Ministries to provide a pet food bank. So if you are a Longview Community Ministry customer, you can also now receive donated pet food to help feed your pet that will be delivered to you along the route. So if you are in need of pet food, we now have a wonderful option for you. So very exciting. Good job.
Thank you.
That's it.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, I've had a few questions about I call them stoplights. Mr. Bonds always wants to talk about traffic lights, but they always stop me. But at Hawkins and Heritage, and it wasn't on the list tonight, and the reason that is going to be going in, the reason it wasn't up there, according to Mr. Bonds, what he just told me, is that we're doing it now with savings from the end of this year's budget. So it will be done a little bit earlier, I assume, than it would have been done if we had waited till next year's budget.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Mr. Pirtle.
Nothing.
Mr. Bonds.
I don't have anything.
Okay. We have some upcoming city events. Longview Listens, Monday, August the 12th. The Back to Homeschool Pictures for Homeschool Families at the Longview Public Library is Tuesday, August the 20th. National Night Out Kickoff is Tuesday, September the 3rd. Upcoming events, we have Jurassic Adventure on Saturday, August the 9th, which is, should be August the 10th. Tomorrow's the 9th. Yes, Saturday, August the 10th. Thank you. And the Poverty Conference 2019 is Tuesday, August the 13th. So if you're interested in any of these events, you can get more information about the city events at longviewtexas.gov/calendars. And for information on the community events, go to visit longviewtexas.com/events. And I'm going to add one more thing to this items of community interest, because right now, our Manufacturing Academy is taking sign-ups for students that want to go and be enrolled in our Manufacturing Academy. And there is room, and we need these individuals, these students, to go and sign up from really any school district. And we have manufacturers that are out there ready to put these kids to work when they get out of this academy. And so the kids may not be taking this information home to the parents, but you parents that are watching this, spread the word. Your kids have a chance to go get an incredible opportunity for free at this Manufacturing Academy. So sign up is available. Talk to the schools, talk to the counselors, get signed up, because enrollment is happening right now. It starts in a couple of weeks, so be prepared for that. And you parents who are listening, spread the word, because it's a unique opportunity that we have in the community, and we're fixing to announce another, hopefully, opportunity along with that here in the near future. So jump on aboard. It's a good train to be on right now. Survey question. I thought this was very appropriate for the discussion we're having. We are currently beginning this year's budget process for the City of Longview. Do you believe the city employees' pay should be consistent with pay of our neighboring cities, less than the pay of our neighboring cities, more than the pay, or keep it the same as it was last year? Boy, was I pleased with these responses. Look at this. 65% says more than the pay of our neighboring cities. And I just want to say to the citizens of Longview that supported this, thank you. You recognize how valuable our city staff is. And I think that's extremely enlightening. And the next one was 30% say at least consistent with neighboring cities. So I think we're on the right track, and I appreciate the citizens recognizing that, because I think that's very important that we all see this as a mutually beneficial thing for all of us. Okay, my favorite question, I think I ask it every year about this time. Summer's officially winding down. Are you ready for school to start back? Hoping for more weeks of summer, or indifferent? I'm just telling you, school can't start soon enough for me. It's killing me. I can't wait for school to start. 39% is with me. No, it's all in fun. But, summer is winding down. Schools are starting in the next week or two. And so, as Ms. Snoddy always tells us, watch for these kids going back to school. Be safe, drive carefully, and we're just thankful to make it through another summer. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, for your participation in our surveys, for council participation in discussions that we had, for staff's diligence in bringing this to us the way that you do. So thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, we're adjourned.
All right. Good job.